For 19 seasons, fans have watched one family fight to keep their ranch alive through storms, heartbreak, and hope. Now the wait is finally over. Heartland is coming back, and this time it is bigger than ever. The show just dropped news that fans have been waiting years to hear, and it changes everything about what comes next. If you love this show, you need to hear this update before anyone spoils it for you. After months of silence and worry, the news finally came out. Heartland has been officially renewed for a 20th season. This is not a rumor or a guess from fans online. The show's own team confirmed it themselves, and the announcement felt like a love letter to everyone who has stuck with this story for so long. The message that went out to fans said something simple but powerful. It said the wait is over and that Heartland is coming back to tell more of the Bartlett-Fleming family story. Think about what 20 seasons actually means. Most shows do not even make it past 3 or 4 seasons. Heartland has been running for close to 2 decades, and it has become one of the longest-running dramas in Canadian television history. That is not a small thing. That means an entire generation of fans grew up watching this family go through weddings, funerals, fights, and reunions. Some viewers started watching this show as kids and are now watching it as parents themselves. What made this announcement even more emotional was the tone of the message. The team behind the show did not just say thank you for watching. They said the show has felt like family for 20 years. That kind of connection between a show and its audience is rare. It shows that the people making Heartland understand exactly why fans love it so much. It was never just about horses or ranch life. It was about a family that keeps holding onto each other no matter what life throws at them. This renewal also answers a big question that fans have been asking since the last season ended. Many worried that the story might be wrapping up for good. Instead, the door has been left wide open for more emotional moments, more growth, and more time with characters who feel like old friends. For longtime fans, this is more than just another season. It feels like a promise that the story is not finished yet. While fans were still celebrating the renewal news, something even more exciting was already happening. The cast and crew were back on set. Filming had already begun, and the whole production was in motion in Calgary, Alberta. This is the same beautiful countryside that has been the backdrop for the show since the very beginning. And seeing everyone back there again felt like coming home. Filming kicked off in the middle of May and was set to run through the end of August. That might sound like just a normal work schedule, but for fans, every single detail from set matters. Every photo, every video clip, and every small update from the cast becomes something to get excited about. People online started sharing anything they could find, from glimpses of familiar horses to quick looks at the ranch house that fans have watched for years. What makes this part of the story special is how normal it all felt. There was no big drama about the show coming back. No long gap of uncertainty. The team simply got back to work, almost like the family in the show itself, showing up for each other without needing a big reason. That steady, reliable feeling is exactly what fans love about this show in the first place. This filming period also gives a clear hint about when the new season will actually arrive. Shows do not usually take years to edit and release once filming wraps up, so this timeline points toward a release later in the same year. That means fans did not just get good news about a renewal. They also got a much clearer picture of how soon they might actually get to watch new episodes. For longtime viewers, this kind of behind-the-scenes update means a lot more than it might seem. It is proof that the story is truly moving forward. It is not just words on a social media post. It is real work happening in real locations with real actors stepping back into roles they have played for years. That mix of comfort and excitement is rare, and it is part of why this update feels so big for the fans who have stayed loyal for 2 decades. Before any of this renewal news came out, the last season ended on a moment that left fans completely stuck. The final episode did not wrap things up nicely with a bow. Instead, it left one huge question hanging in the air, and it is the kind of question that keeps people replaying the scene over and over in their heads. A proposal happened, and the answer never came. The screen just cut away right when everyone needed to hear one simple word. That kind of ending is not an accident. Shows do this on purpose to make sure fans keep thinking about the story even after the season is done. And it worked. People spent months guessing what she might say. arguing about it online, and trying to read hidden clues from earlier episodes. Some fans were convinced they already knew the answer, others were not so sure, and that uncertainty is exactly what made the wait for new episodes feel so heavy. Now that filming has already started on the next chapter, that cliffhanger suddenly feels a lot more real. It is not just a season ending anymore. It is the opening question of a brand new season, and it means the first few episodes will likely deal with this moment head on. Fans will not have to wait long wondering if the show forgot about it or moved past it quietly. This is clearly going to be a major starting point for everything that comes next. There is also another storyline that got left open at the same time. One of the younger characters was preparing for a big move overseas, stepping away from the ranch and into a completely different kind of life. That decision was not simple either, and it raises its own set of questions about family, distance, and what growing up really looks like for someone who was raised on that land, together. These two unfinished stories give the new season a strong emotional starting point. It is not starting from a blank page. It is picking up right where hearts were left hanging. And that is exactly the kind of storytelling that has kept people watching for so many years. Behind every good show update, there are usually a few words from the people living it firsthand, and this time was no different. One of the lead actresses, the woman who has played the heart of this family since the very first episode, opened up about what this milestone actually means to her. She shared that she truly hopes the show can keep going for another decade or even longer. And she admitted she had her fingers crossed waiting to hear if a new season would even happen. That kind of honesty hits different coming from someone who has spent almost 20 years inside this character. She was not speaking like an actor reading lines for an interview. She was speaking like someone who understands exactly how much this story means to real people watching at home. She talked about hearing from families who say the show gave them something wholesome to watch together. Something they could sit down and enjoy without worry. And that kind of feedback clearly stays with her. She also shared something deeper about how she sees her own life through the lens of playing this role for so long. She talked about wanting to show people that it is okay to just be yourself, to laugh at your own mistakes, and to live life on your own terms instead of trying to please everyone else. Coming from someone who has spent 2 decades shaping one of the most loved characters on television, those words carry real weight. With filming already underway, cast members back in familiar places, and a proposal answer still hanging in the air, everything is now pointing toward one thing. This new season is being built to feel like both a celebration and a fresh beginning. 20 seasons is not a small number, and everyone involved seems to understand that this moment deserves to be handled with care. For fans, this means the wait is almost over. The pieces are falling into place. The story is moving forward, and the emotional payoff many have been hoping for finally feels within reach. All that is left now is watching it all come together when the new episodes finally arrive later this year. Nobody outside the writer's room knows exactly what is coming, but that has never stopped fans from putting the pieces together. Based on everything that got left open, there are a few directions this new season could realistically take. And thinking through them is part of what makes waiting for a new season so much fun in the first place. The most obvious thread to watch is how that proposal answer finally plays out. Shows rarely drag out a moment like this for too long, so it is likely the very first episode deals with it directly instead of dancing around it. How that moment is handled could shape the emotional tone for the rest of the season. Whether it leans into celebration, tension, or something more complicated than a simple yes or no, then there is the question of the family member heading overseas. A move like that usually does not happen quietly in a show built around family and home. It is easy to imagine emotional goodbyes, phone calls that do not go as planned, or even a return visit later in the season once real life away from the ranch turns out to be harder than expected. Distance has a way of testing family bonds, and that tension writes itself. Beyond those two storylines, 20 seasons in usually means the show also wants to look backward a little, not just forward. Milestone seasons often bring moments that honor where the story began, maybe through callbacks to earlier years, older characters getting mentioned again, or scenes that remind longtime viewers why they fell in love with this family in the first place. That mix of nostalgia and new drama tends to make milestone seasons feel extra special. Of course, None of this is confirmed, and the writers have surprised fans plenty of times before. But that uncertainty is part of the appeal. Right now, all anyone can do is watch the clues. Trust the people who have told this story so well for so long. And get ready for whatever comes next when the new season finally airs. After everything that has come out, one thing is clear. This is not just another season getting added to the pile. This is a milestone moment for a show that has quietly become part of people's lives for almost 20 years. From the renewal announcement to the cameras already rolling in Alberta, every piece of news so far has pointed towards something worth waiting for. Think back to everything covered here. A show that could have easily faded away instead got a full renewal, and the message behind it felt personal, not just professional. Filming started right on schedule, giving fans a real timeline to look forward to instead of vague promises. The biggest cliffhanger from last season is still sitting there unanswered, which means the new episodes are almost guaranteed to open with real emotional weight. And hearing directly from someone who has lived inside this world for 2 decades reminded everyone why this story connects so deeply with people in the first place. None of this happened by accident. A show does not last 20 seasons by luck. It lasts that long because it keeps giving people something real to hold on to, whether that is a family working through hard times together or a reminder that home is always worth fighting for. That is likely why this update spread so fast among fans the moment it came out. Now the only thing left to do is wait for the new season to actually arrive. Based on the filming schedule, that should not be too far off, which means the countdown has already started for millions of people who have been checking for updates like this one. If this kind of story matters to you, now is the time to stay ready. Because once the new episodes drop, everyone is going to be talking about them before wrapping up. If this update helped you catch up on everything happening with the show, think about sticking around for more. There is likely going to be a lot more news between now and the actual premiere, and missing an update like this one again would be a shame. The story is not over yet, and honestly, it feels like some of the best parts are still ahead.